This is Moonshine and Music with Joe Shelton. Wait a minute, that's me. Anyway, we're going to bring you some inspiring songwriters, musicians, and maybe some side challenges and other stuff around the music industry. So stick with us right now, because the show is coming your way. Woo! Moonshine and Music starts right now. Welcome to Moonshine and Music. We've got here with us today Mark Proctor, local prognosticator of musical genius, as well as, from time to time, hide the kids. He sometimes is Santa Claus. So, like,
only
for real,
summer.
I'm not even playing. Only in the winter time. But Mark, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Joe. Glad to be here.
Yeah, it's really good to have you here. Hey, let's make some noise, man. I mean, so the on the show here, we generally try to get to know the artists so that when people go to see them or play their music online or wherever, they get a little bit of an insight into who they are. So if you want to tell us a little bit about you and where you grew up and what you do and other than music and maybe a hobby, something like that.
Okay. I started playing music back in '64. I'm a bass player, actually. Converted to guitar when I couldn't do bass solos all the time, playing in farmers markets and stuff. But grew up in Indianapolis, close to the inner city, mostly predominantly black neighborhood, so all my friends were black guys. But anyway, so I did a whole lot of Motown back in the day.
Really, with the deep voice? What kind of were you like? Did they always put you in for the 3-part harmony on the low end?
Oh yeah. Well, then all through high school, I was in a folk group where I was playing bass and playing my stand-up, and same deal. I was the only one that could sing low. So back in high school, not everybody's voices had dropped yet. So, but yes, so I get. But I like the Statler Brothers, stuff like that, where I can do the bottom part. I can do really low. So
you do the Bapa Mau Mau thing?
Bapa Mau Mau. Sure.
That's so cool, man. Like, I know I was playing with you before, and you like jump in that low part. It almost scares me. It's like, whoa. So,
well, if you can't go low enough, then I got to jump in. That's all there is to it.
I definitely can't even get close unless I have a really bad cold. When I have a really bad cold, I start to sound like you. I'm like, I'm now Mark Proctor. When you were growing up, what did your parents do? What were they in?
My dad worked at Notlehs, and my mom was the lunch lady at school.
Really?
Yeah, I went to Catholic school, and they had lunch ladies that monitor the kids while we're out doing recess. So she was a lunch lady until I graduated, and then she moved into bus driving. So my younger two brothers actually had mom as a bus driver.
Oh, that's terrible. I feel bad for them. Like, bus driver is always like the most vicious person, because they have to be.
No.
Not because they're like actually vicious, but because,
Yeah. Actually, yeah, everybody years later said, "Oh, you're Rosemary Proctor's son?" Well, she was our favorite bus driver. We always loved when she took, and she would take all the extra trips, side trips, but be the bus driver. Man Super came up to me and goes, "Your mom, I love your mom." Okay.
Man, being a bus driver on a school bus sounds like a terribly hard job.
Well, I think for IPS it probably is, but Catholic school it's okay.
Oh, I see. Yeah. You got like the private school with a little bit different people in there.
Yeah, that's right. And a little calmer, and then a little more respectful, I guess.
It's just not everybody ends up there. When did you first start writing songs? Was that like in high school or a little bit after? Or?
I wrote a couple in high school because back then it was the Vietnam War was going on and people were writing protest songs. So I wrote a couple of protest songs back in the day that our group never wanted to do. But so I put them on the back burner. I actually ran across the first song I ever wrote, and it was my dad was a very sarcastic kind of guy. So the whole song is about how great being in the military is because you got to have bright, shiny buttons on your uniform. Wasn't anything about the war. It's just about what how they perceived, sent the images back to us is always how great it was, you know. And so
Right.
the whole song was a sarcastic thing, but so I don't do it though.
You don't sing that one anymore?
Not since the war ended, no.
Well, I mean, I didn't know if you adapted it for like later wars. I mean, we
Well,
have a couple that are ongoing now for even longer than Vietnam.
I'm
so.
gonna say I could pull it back out again, probably work, but
Just rework it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the, so when you, what I mean, I know that you work in a rather important job most of the time.
I am a land surveyor.
Right.
So during the day I do land surveys, and then I go play music someplace, and then I go to work and draw the surveys I did. So I don't sleep much, but it's all right.
So, sometimes, when people's day jobs, they kind of intertwine in and make songwriting fodder. Does land surveying do that at all? I mean, I know you probably get to see some really cool property and things like that, but
Yeah, no. None of the songs I've written have anything to do with my job.
or were even inspired during being there.
Or expired during the job. No, yeah. No, they're inspired by just living life otherwise, yeah. So
I know you have one tune that I have, I love, and I sometimes put it in my show. That's I Hear Music, and I love the story about how you wrote that.
yes.
I think that the folks would like, that kind of thing.
Okay. Well, yearly I go on a spiritual retreat in a Jesuit retreat house in St. Louis. It's sitting right on the Mississippi River, and it's called the White House. But anyway, if you're ever over in St. Louis, you can look it up. But the whole problem, they didn't tell me the first time I went 20-something years ago, it's a silent retreat. They didn't tell me that till I got there. So
Bad timing on when to
yeah, I mean
get this kind of information.
Yeah. So anyway, and my family that was there and invited me to come be part of it. Can't keep their mouth shut anyway, so it doesn't. But I was trying to be respectful, and I'm sitting on the banks of the Mississippi, trying to be quiet and meditative and thinking about what the topic of the weekend was and blah blah blah, and all I could hear in the background is these frogs going, So the frogs are making noise, the crickets are making noise. So, and there was a locust one that same year, so you hear that high-pitched whining sound in the trees the entire weekend, and so that's where the song "I Hear Music" comes from, because I couldn't be quiet.
I think that's just a really cool story. The whole concept of just being anywhere you are and hearing music in it, to me, I don't know, it reaches some kind of level that I really like. And so that's why I get that out of it. How many songs have you written during your time? I know I've seen you play, and occasionally you'll play, I wrote this one, and just pull out something I never heard before.
Well, let's see, I got 4 CDs of original music. The smallest one's got 14 songs, the other one's got 16, 17. So, and that's not just the ones I've recorded.
At least 60, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good catalog of stuff. Is it possible to get a hold of that for people online or anywhere? Or
if I'm on Facebook, you can tell it's me because I'm wearing the Santa suit, Mark Proctor. And if they contact me, I will gladly send them copies of the CDs and stuff. Then actually, I do a lot of farmers markets, so people will come up to me at the farmers market after I play a given song. They go, "You should record that one. Record that one." So I have another CD that says "Most Requested I Didn't Write," and it's just a CD of all those songs. And I'm actually doing a second one of those, and more requested I didn't write.
Well, when you do the Christmas time stuff, how did you get started in that? Was it just because you had a big beard, or what made you want to be a Santa Claus?
Actually, it was a guy at work wanted me to come to his house dressed as he was going to buy a suit or rent a suit, have me come to his house and surprise his kids. So I told my wife that, and she goes, "You can make money doing that?" And I said, "That's all it took." Next thing I know, I'm on Craigslist and all kinds of places, "Real beard Santa," blah, blah, blah. And so it started probably on my wife and the guy at work who wanted to know if I'd do it.
Very cool. So how many of those do you get to do a year?
I do 20 to 21
So
Santa gigs, yeah.
Just about as much as you can during that time period between
Yeah.
Thanksgiving and Christmas, right?
Yeah, well, I don't do them before December 1st. So December 1st to December 24th, I do 20 to 21.
So you're really busy with it at that point.
Yeah, but most of the gigs are, hour and a half. So
Yeah, so you move on to
move
you
on
can do
to the
more
next
than
thing.
one that day, right?
especially on Saturdays, you might do 4 or 5 on a Saturday. Yeah,
Wow, that sounds like a day right there.
it's wonderful though. All
yeah.
the little kids light up. or if I'm doing cookies with Santa at an apartment complex, and the kids that won't come up to you because they're just hiding behind mom's leg, and I said, oh my God, and then by the time they see 30 other kids come up, they okay, well, it's okay. We'll go on up and do it. What the
So
heck?
how do you get around the world in one night?
Really fast reindeer. Which is the most common question. Where's the reindeer?
Well, we can't take them with us everywhere.
True. Actually, this past winter, I kept telling them, I said, well, you don't have any snow. Because we didn't get hardly any snow in December. So
Right.
I kept throwing it back on the kids. I said, you got to pray for snow. Okay.
The kids are there every night. Can I please have some snow?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we have this new segment, and I want to bring in Brent Smith. He's our resident comedian. Our new segment is called Moonshine Trivia. So we're going to have a little trivia contest between these two. And we have questions that are written from Funkin' Wagnall's back porch. And we stole those in the middle of the night when no one was looking. We got in the mayonnaise jar. So I'm going to ask a couple of them and see, whichever one buzzes in first gets the opportunity to answer. So
He has to ask the question first.
I already know. I'm good at this.
you're good at first question. What's the funniest thing you've ever seen?
Stripper reindeer.
Correct. In what movie would you have Nicolas Cage replace the lead to make it better?
14 pesos.
That's correct.
Told you I was good at this.
I think he looked at the questions.
Yeah, I was like, you got the question. Come on, Mark. Right now.
This is a tough one. What's the average age of an albino skunk living in the rainforest?
13.
Correct.
It's actually 13.1.
Sorry, no revisiting. If it takes 12 minutes to walk to Walmart, how long will you wait in line at the checkout?
Your hat is red.
Thank you. That's it for Moonshine Trivia. Thank you, Brent.
Winner!
I didn't understand the question.
Well, some would say that's the point. So, Mark, we're going to let you, swill a little bit more beer, and then you can jump up on the stage and do a couple songs for us. Does that sound fun?
Oh, yeah.
All right. One of the songs will be in the episode, and the other one will be featured as a Moonshine moment later on.
Okay.
So it'll be, 2-song set.
I got to do the one you already talked about, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we always want to hear that. There is one other thing that I wanted to bring up before we jump you up on the stage. I know that you do this thing that we call the anthem at the end of a lot of the shows.
Yes.
That you do. Can you talk about that and where it comes from?
Well, it's a traditional melody, but a friend of mine who's now passed, named Dan Welling, actually came up with the words for that. He was kind of heavy into smoking.
The name of the song is Legalize the Weed.
Yes, Dan was a weed smoker. And so actually the last line of the song, it says, I changed it since Dan bequeathed the song to me. I changed it from I'm tired of being with criminals, but he always sang I'm tired of being a criminal. I had to make one modification just because I don't do it. So
it's perfect. All right, Mark, we're going to get you up there, and we'll be right back here with Mark Proctor on the stage at Moonshine and Music.
all right, this is a song about living life in kind of a rough neighborhood. I got some coffee in a cup, trading my dreams for waking up. Seems I always work so much, it never is enough. Climbing through an uphill world, I pray today goes as it should. I pray the news will all be good, but this never seems to be in my reality. Climbing through an uphill world, like a mountain I must climb. Seems I'm climbing all the time. Well, sometimes a thought has crossed my mind. Well, there may not be downhill side. Now it's time for me to go into this world I've come to know, and I expect more of the same, what we had yesterday. Climbing through an uphill world, like a mountain I must climb. Seems I'm climbing all the time. Well, sometimes a thought has crossed my mind. Well, there may not be downhill side, 'cause I'm climbing through. Yes, I'm climbing through. And I'll keep climbing through this uphill world. Thank you very much. Holly, I saw your mouth moving, but I couldn't hear you. All right, you might want to check the levels now, because this is a picking song, so. Okay. All right, this is a song we were just talking about the interviews. I rode on the side of the banks of the Mississippi when I'm supposed to be silent at a silent retreat, and nothing around me was silent. Well, some say silence is golden, and solitude its own reward. But I can't sit too long without hearing the music of Mother Earth. The birds and bees and even the wind makes silence so, so hard. My mind just has to answer. The new song is taking birth. I hear music and the toads humming their melody.
music, well, it's too loud to hold it in, 'cause it touches my very soul and causes me to grin. And I hear music. Well, maybe it's a blessing or maybe a curse. Music's never let me down. God gave this gift to me, so I try to pass along some hopes and dreams and insight as I go from town to town. So I never know just what I'll find. It'll end up in my song. I hear music wherever I may be. It's the crickets and the toads singing their melodies. I hear music, and it's too loud to hold it in, 'cause it touches my very soul and causes me to grin. 'Cause I hear music. Well, now that I'm getting older, I don't move very swift. It gives me the time to take in one of God's greatest gifts. I hear music wherever I may be. It's the crickets and the toads, and they're singing in harmony. I hear music. It's too loud to hold it in, 'cause it touches my very soul and causes me to grin. And I hear music, 'cause I hear music. Thank you all very much. In 4-part harmony, legalize the weed, legalize the weed, make a lot of taxes, legalize the weed, legalize the weed, legalize the weed. I'm tired of being with criminals, so legalize the weed, legalize the weed, legalize the weed, make a lot of taxes, legalize the weed, legalize the weed, legalize the weed. 'Cause I'm tired of being with criminals, so legalize the weed.
Moonshine and Music is a presentation of Notlehs Entertainment. Copyright 2019, all rights reserved. Our producer is Joe Shelton. Our cameraman, grip, and stunt double is Brent Lee Smith. On cameras and all sorts of other stuff, Bailey Shelton. And our staff guru is Brent Schlemmer. Join us each Sunday for more episodes of Moonshine and Music.